It's perfect. You caught me right in the flow. But that was like my like main strategy change, because like I think a lot of people are looking at the game and they're like, oh, I'm gonna put $100 into this coin and like hope it makes me 1,000. Like, I don't look at anything in terms of dollar values anymore. Like the only thing I look in terms of dollar value is like maybe like how much I have on my ledger and like some Bitcoin and other stuff. But that's literally it. When you're in the trading game, like I look at one Solana is one poker chip. And now how much supply can I get per poker chip? Like at what levels? Because if I'm in a fucking coin at 25K market cap and I can put 1.5, 2.5 Solana in, I can get to 2%, like 1.5 Solana at that level is probably like 1% of the supply, 1.5 maybe, but like 2.5 will get you up to 2.5% of the supply, maybe even 3. And like, if you've been playing the game long enough, you know, like essentially the unspoken rule is like no more than really 3% in a wallet. Like, if you have more than 3% in a wallet, like it will still bond and it may even still run to 250,000, 500,000. But when I see people with 5 or 6% in a wallet, like it really
hurts you at a certain point, right?
It hurts to a certain point, and like you really can't break a certain cap level with those numbers. Like it's really hard to, unless you have some crazy social momentum from something else. I'll just say that. And so that's like part of the game that I think people don't think about. They're thinking about it in dollar values, and then they're comparing that dollar value about how it would affect their life. And they're like, oh, well, $1,000 would change my life right now and would help me a lot because I can pay rent. And then the coin goes 1,000x afterwards, and they're crying on Twitter about why they didn't fucking hold, you know? And so, like, you just gotta, like, it's all a game of percentages is what I realized. It has nothing to do with fucking dollars. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's how much percent of a coin do you own? Because if you can own 2% of a coin and it can run to $1 million market cap in an hour, you just made 20 grand in an hour. And even if you sell 50 to 75% of it and hold a moon bag, you're still caking. Like, you can be doing this game all day. It's very interesting. But I'm rambling. Let's get it.
I like a good ramble, man. I fall prey to that as well. But like I agree. To me, everything is just thought about in probabilities. And like when you're at a certain level in poker, and it translates really well to crypto, you only need somebody to talk to you for 30 seconds before you can say like, okay, they get it or they don't get it, based on just like the way they say a sentence, right? So if they say, that's like the normie text, right? Is like, hey man, like what coin can I make $500 in or whatever, right? You automatically you put that into a category of like, all right, yeah, it's cool that you're interested or whatever, but like you're not going to kind of get what we're trying to do here, right? Whereas we're gamifying it, looking at it as probabilities, grow the bag, think it's a deeper game. It's like,
this is
like
why
poker is a topical game. It's very easy to know what pocket aces are and to know a simple thing, but then it's a very deep game at the same time. So you feel like similar here?
It's the same thing, and that's why I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's why I love this Vector app thing that we've been on, because like the problem that I've had is like, well, not the problem, I guess, but it's actually kind of a fun thing. Like, I've just been doing this for realistically 12 months, but really in the pump fun side of it for like 9. Like, I was doing all the bundled stuff and playing that game for the first couple months. But I've just been doing it in a private group chat with a bunch of people who like are just people I met in other telegrams. Like, and they're not like big like literally like the biggest other follower besides me is like 1,000, 2,000 followers in there. So it's not like we're just like some weird cabal. Like, we're actually people that are like hunting shit. And that's the only way I've been able to like do it, because like I have like a little call channel, I have Twitter, I have all this stuff, but I can't be shilling fucking 20K market cap coins to 1,000 people in my Telegram 15 times a day every time I'm doing it. And then being like, oh, that rug, now we're moving to this one. It's too complicated to try to like there's a huge communication barrier between me buying something, watching the thesis form, and like figuring out whether that thesis will actually be like executable or not. Like whether it will actually like move into a broader ecosystem than just my thoughts. Like, is somebody else thinking that, you know, like with Poppy, for example, like dog, my first purchases of Poppy were 14K market cap. because I'm just sitting on Pump Fun and it wasn't just Poppy. I got all of them at 14K, like 10K, 14K, because I'm sitting on Pump Fun. You're watching that, but you can't just say, hey, buy all of these at 14K to like everyone on Twitter, because like I'll be a pump and dump scammer if I do that. Like everyone would be like,
of course,
why is Function chilling on 10K market cap? But yeah, long story short, like that's what I love about this app is like people can like actually watch the trading styles because you're doing it, not because you're telling people you're doing it. And they can also see that you're not LARPing, which is sick.
Yeah. Like you can kind of just see how you're operating and feel it. I guess there's a couple threads I want to pull on there. Like there's a skill game to this, and I would say I'm still not great at it because I generally play in the larger cap stuff, middle larger cap, because I'm trying to like deploy meaningful money. But so with the Vector app, I've started to play around with much smaller coins because like you can, and this gets into like the branding and social thing on my end. I'm like, I could like generate a little bit of an early following here and not really have to risk much. And I could probably try and help some people out as they progress to bigger sizes and stuff, which is eventually where I care mostly about anyway. Like it's fun to play the little market caps too, and I'm still learning that because it's a skill that I don't have. But like, yeah, like there's the skill side that you have with your trusted kind of group, your ability to sit there and grind Pump Fun, but then there's the feel side of it in which you're in a very short window of time creating a thesis in your head and being like, is this a type of meta that could catch on in the moment we're in right now? And that's probably something that you've gotten pretty good at, it seems. Yeah,
I've gotten good at that. And then the other thing there's two things I do. I do that all day. I say like Poppy, like the first thing I did. So here's the whole Poppy story. This is actually really cool. The whole Poppy story is my buddy posts a contract address at like 9 a.m. or like 8 a.m. in my group chat. And it was called Gala, newborn hippo at the fucking Virginia Zoo or whatever. So I look it up and I'm like, oh, Gala, that's sick. I immediately ape, get like 2%. Like go over to like I ape before I research. That's just like usually do it.
That's what makes you research, really.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm invested. So like I ape, I research a little bit. I see that the hippo's real, right? And so I'm like, oh, dude, I got a banger. This is like, it's a newborn hippo. It's in America. Even if it doesn't even catch much traction on like a social media standpoint, it's a newborn hippo. That shit's going to run to at least a couple 100K. And I'm in at 35K. So I should make a little bit, like at least 20 SOL, 15 SOL.
Risk reward right off the bat. It's like
exactly like 3.5 in, sell half at like 300K for like 15 SOL. I'm not doing the math right, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I got you.
And then just ride the rest to zero or hero. That's the way I like to play, long story short, buddy in my group chat jumps in again because he's researching it too. And like, he's like, hey guys, they actually haven't named the hippo yet. And I was like, oh, okay. So kind of sus. I'll hold it just in case like this guy knows like Gala is something, but like most likely he doesn't and he's just scamming people. That's okay. Whatever. It's 3.5 SOL. Don't give a fuck. Then I'm sitting on Pump Fun and all of a sudden Poppy comes up. Hammy May, Omi, Juniper was the fourth one, all in a row. And I go to the website. They have the same website for everyone. And it's the fucking zoo's website with a voting link to vote for the name. And like, I've been doing this game long enough that I know that scammers will literally make full-blown fake websites for like newborn hippo. Like I've seen it happen 10 times where like a really nice website is made. It's like the San Diego Zoo.com. Newborn giraffe, but it's San Diego instead of DIEGO. It's DIGO, And so I start sleuthing and I do my research. I go on there, find their real Twitter, and figure out it's their actual website. And no one else had really aped them yet. And I do this in like, it sounds like I'm doing a long process, but that's literally like a 20.
No, I know it's very, very fast for you.
Yeah. So long story short, I just aped all of them at like 15K.
Yeah.
It just got like 2 to 3% of each. And we're just like, all right, we're just like holding these to zero or hero because there's no risk at that point. Like
Yep.
If I'm entering a 14K market cap, 20K market cap coin, I'm putting 2 SOL in. The reality is if it rugs and literally goes to 0, the lowest it's going on Pump Fun, I think, is like 7K or like 6.5 is the lowest it can go. And so, yeah, I lose 75% of a fucking 2 SOL. So I still cash out half a SOL. Like, it's not the end of the world. But
that's the game though.
But then it just, yeah, I mean, the coin just fucking hit $9 million market cap and like fucking 14K. You know what I mean? Like that's the game. Like that people, like a lot of people don't have, and I'm still learning, don't get me wrong. This is probably my hardest part, is like just sitting on it, dude. Like when you're in a 20K shitter and it hits 500K or even a mil, you're like, all right, fuck yeah, I'm up fucking 20x, 50x, 100x on some of this shit, you know? Rips to 2 mil, 3 mil. The hardest thing is to like just like sit on your hands and just like, it's smart to sell some because most of this shit goes to 0 the next day, don't get me wrong. And I always like encourage myself and other people to do that. But the hardest thing is to like just sit on it. Like, I mean, I don't know if you saw that AI penis coin, Zero Bros penis.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't do anything with it, but yep.
Yeah, I was on that. I aped that on fucking Vector at 30K the other day. You know, I sold most realistically at like 500. You know, like I got a couple.
It's tough, right? Because like you're
10 mil. You know, you just don't know.
Is it 10 million?
It hit 10 mil yesterday. I don't know what it's at today. It touched 10 mil yesterday. And so the way I like to tell it, like the way I like to explain it to people is like when you build a thesis about it, when I build a thesis about a coin, it helps me with like actual somewhat of conviction. And at the same point, you can't have full conviction until other people are saying the same thesis you're saying. Like I was saying American Mudang, like before I even saw it on GME day one, Good Morning America. I literally was in my group chat. The first thing I said, guys, this could be the American Mudang. I have like screenshots and everything. And now people are saying the American Mudang. And so now my thesis is validated by other people so I can have larger conviction. But until that happens, you like the way I like to explain it is you're playing Crash. You ever play Crash on it's a Rollbit or like an online casino game. It's essentially a game where you bet a certain amount of money and the rocket ship or the dragon goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up until the algorithm says no more and it crashes. And it could go up 0.1x. It could go up 10,000x. You don't know. And we're playing the same exact game, except you have more data and you have more ability to build a thesis, but you still don't fucking know. And so I've round tripped 200 SOL profits, like 300 SOL profit before, because I'm like, this one is the one that's going to make me 2 to 3 mil. And it wasn't, you know? And I've sold bags early that like, fucking ran to 500 mil, you know? And I've also been in shit like Poppy where it's made me multiple 6 figures, you know? So like, you kind of just have, like, you have to be like, sounds retarded, but like, you have to be like Wada, like Bruce Lee, like you have to just like flow with it. You can't be too stuck on your own conviction. And you also like can't cheat too hard. It's this weird middle ground when you play like really low caps like I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's just intuition that I think, you know, all of the previous coins that you've been doing for months and months and months is subconsciously just feeding you information on like, no, the meta's done here, or it's exhausted, or no, something feels right here. Like, I think it could keep running. And that's all such a feel type of thing, you know? Like Poppy, for instance, for me, I got in there and I wrote in my mental brain, I was like, all right, this, to me, it isn't the first hippo, right? So there's already the idea that it's not the game-changing meta that Mudang was or whatever. And then like I've seen so many of these major news network type of release sell the news events that I was like, okay, my plan here, and I'm going to trust myself, is once they announce it, I'm done. So that's what happened to me today. I kind of sold out of everything. And like, look, this is where you have to just trust yourself. Like, look, if it is the American Mudang and there's this funny meta that comes where they're competing with each other and it goes to 100 million, you got me. Okay, I'm good. I just have to let that go though, you know, or else you're going to end up aping it at 50 million or something because you remembered that you were a guy who got it early and you feel attached to it in these weird ways.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest keys I've learned for sure is like, if you're playing really low caps, like you're going to be in coins that go to 100 million that you're going to paper, like you just are. And if you don't paper them, like amazing, like you're the best trader I've ever heard. Like, but the reality is like, you just don't know. Like my buddy on my group chat called Smoking Chicken Fish at 10K market cap, like literally when it came out, like literally my buddy put it in the group chat and we have the tag at 10K. Like we all bought like some between 10 and 25, 30 before it like bonded, but none of us held to 100 million. You know, how are we supposed to know a Smoking Chicken Fish is going to 100 million? We all made a bag, but like, you know, you just don't know. And so you have to just accept that. Otherwise, A, you'll do exactly what you said. You'll chase them, or B, you'll end up in this like weird loophole that I've ended up before. I think everybody has, where you're like just kind of beating yourself up over the fact, like, dude, I was in butthole coin the other day at 400K. I would have fucking made $1 million if I just like left it. You know, I could sit here all day and beat myself up about that, or I could get back in the game and realize like the next one's right on the table. And as long as I'm like strategic and patient and like attentive, I can fucking kill it, you know?
Yeah. And even personally, like butthole to me was like just over the line to me of like what I thought would be acceptable by a group. But then again, you just never know crypto Twitter. You know what I mean? They always shock you. So I was like, it just feels a little like we've been through some of this stuff that like, you know, the guy in the cage, the dude shitting on people, like we've hit these like crossed the line a few times. And I was like, you know, this feels like we're trying to cross the line again. I was like, just fuck it. So I just have to be okay with like, I didn't see it, man. You got me.
Exactly.
You got me.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of just the way you got to play it, is just like, you never know. I mean, my buddy, we were all at Fartcoin at 100K, and my buddy, who's not even in like he's in crypto, but he doesn't do it like I do it. Like he sent it to me in our group chat, like on text at $1 million. He was like, dude, this is funny as fuck. Should we buy this? And I was like, damn, I was in that at 100K. Why didn't I hold? Now it's 1.5 billion, you know, you just, and you also don't know like the parabolic nature of these things. Like some will go parabolic at 500K and they'll never return. Some will go parabolic to 5 mil and they'll never return. Some will like literally go. I've watched coins go parabolic to 5 mil, go back to 100K, and then run to fucking 50 mil. Like it's just dumb. There's no.
It's such a different game. It really is. It's
there's
just
no
like
rules to the price movement.
Compare it to Bitcoin, dude. Like Bitcoin seems like an ancient world fiat compared to this stuff. You know what I mean?
It seems like the least risky. That's what I do. Every time I make big profit at a coin, I take X% and I throw it in Bitcoin on my ledger, because it's like this. It's the safer bet to what I do. Like where other people think it's risky.
So you think the current like, because right now we're in that season of like throw a fucking dart, it might go up. You know what I mean? Do you feel like this is kind of why you're pushing 16, 18 hours a day, is because you feel like, all right, this is the moment where like if there's going to be things that are running, like this is the time. This is the time to be like full effort. Is that what you feel right now for this first quarter?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the moment for like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It could last longer. It could last 6 more months, maybe even 12. I don't know. But when I start seeing shit on Joe Rogan, like dudes literally talking about pump fund coins, and I start to see like all of this shit happen, you know that like it's starting to reach mainstream more. And I don't think mainstream's gone parabolic into it yet at all. Like I don't, once I see fucking every TikToker I know dropping a pump fund, like once I see Aiden Ross live on his fucking Kick releasing a pump fund, like then you know parabolic nature has begun and it's time to start really like getting your profits and moving them off the fucking table. And like, don't get me wrong, it kind of feels like we've started that to a degree, but like I still think we've got a decent amount of time to go.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't crossed that chasm yet. We see the random ones here and there where there's like a little group of 18-year-olds who have $500 and they're playing around, but it is by no means cool yet or like everywhere and always. Like it's just, again, it's just not reached it. Like you need everybody to kind of be participating, and I still feel like I live in the burbs, man, in Southern California, and I'm still the crypto guy, right? Like I'm still the crypto guy. It's not like, hey, we all kind of are exposed to this somehow and now I have questions. We're still the characters, and we're like the guy in the corner of the room meme,
Yeah.
like that's still who we are. We're not the guys partying now, so like once we're all the ones partying, like
then you sell everything.
That's different. Yeah, exactly. And my whole goal here is like, as much as I love Web3, I would love to never talk to you motherfuckers again. So that's like the dream for me.
You and I are in the same fucking boat. Shout out Riff Raff. I just want to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. Exactly. You ever seen that video?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta look. Oh man, I wish we could pull that up right now. Yeah, you gotta look at that video. Actually, can I present? I can present, right?
I think so. Hold on.
Take a quick.
Can you request it?
Let me request it.
You can do it.
And share screen. Cool. All right, we got it.
A lo-fi mix, a classic Web3 algorithm hit on YouTube.
Exactly.
Oh, Riff Raff.
It's to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
All right.
That is perfect. Dude, where has he been? Who knows?
He blew up now. He acts like he doesn't know nobody, dude.
Oh, he did it. He's gold.
Bro.
He probably went back to being like normal white guy, took out his grill. He was like, finally, dude, all these fake tattoos, I can get rid of them now,
Literally, bro, literally.
God, that's funny.
I actually got a cool little thing that I want to like add like to this conversation because like everybody talks about how do you find the winners, and this is gold right here for everybody listening that is listening. Like everybody's always looking for the winners, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm looking for winners too, but the reason that I've been able to find and hit so many winners is because I spent probably like 4 to 6 months of the 9 months on Pump Fun. Like I spent probably 200 grand, and I spent that 200 grand learning what the ruggers do and learning what the insiders do. Because most people are like, what I'm trying to say is most people are looking for what a runner looks like. They need to be looking for what a rug looks like. Because all the ruggers pulled the same exact fucking moves. They have the same exact tactics. They duplicate the same process over and over and over again. And the reason people are losing on Pump Fun is they don't know what the ruggers do. And so they might hit 1 in 20 of like a winner every 1 in 20, but I'm hitting a winner every 1 in 5 or 1 in 10, And so my losses are less and I'm holding longer for my winners. And so I'm making more. And that's literally the whole game. That's the process. And so if people don't know, like if you try to get in the game and only look for the runners, you're going to get rugged 100 times. I spent 4 to 6 months learning what the ruggers are doing versus what the insiders are doing, because a lot of the times, which is really fun and interesting, rugs look like insider shit. But there's like little things that you have to look for that can like really change really change your perspective and how you see it. Like, for example, there was a coin called Limitless that was launched by DGods, like some DGod guy the other day. It was an AI guy. I don't know if you saw it, but I got in at fucking 75 or 100K. And I shared it immediately to my group chat. And I was like, this might be something that looks really sus. And I swear to you on my fucking life, like 70% of my group chat was like, bro, the dev has 15%. Like, why the fuck are you buying this? And I was like, that's exactly why I'm buying it. He has 15% and it's 100K and it's moving to 250K and he hasn't sold. Like if he was going to rug it and make his fucking 50 grand, he would have done it by now. Right. Then it hit a mill and I'm like, it's going to be like, it's not done because he would have rugged it by now. It ended up running to 10 mil. I think I sold it like 3 to 5, you know?
So you think there's a barrier often where like a rug would have been done, or are there variations of people who rug early and rug late?
Yes, there's variations based upon how, and this is my like observation, and this is really like a lot of alpha I'm giving everybody, but fuck it. Based upon how quickly it's moving. That's what it's really based upon. Because if a coin's moving really, really quickly right out the gate, like especially with a lot of these AI coins, like you can watch a coin, it's running to 200, 300K. It's got a lot of volume. You can go to the Twitter. It has no followers. It's like trying to be really serious. And it's like the AI solution for blockchain protocols. You're like, okay, this is bullshit. And then it rugs, right? But when like this didn't move that fast. It's not like it went from 100K to 1 million in a minute. It was taking like an hour to get there, 45 minutes, you know? And so it's less about the, like, it's partially about what market cap it's at and it has the dev rugged, but it's also about the time frame. Because if like, you got to understand, most of these devs are so impatient that they will take a $200 profit when they sell on fund.
Because they don't want to fuck up by letting it sell off on its own, right? Like if they hook something, they just want to take advantage of it, and it's probably too risky for them to let it run farther than to not just clip it.
That's like, I think part of the early dev, like probably like 60%, 70% of the early dev cells are like just jeets that are just like, and I don't mean, I should probably stop saying that, like yeets, like I don't mean it in a racial term. I mean it in like people who are intentionally like trying, like their goal is to make $200 every time they launch a coin. If they make 150 or 250, they're happy, right? Like that's their goal. And so that's like 70% of it. And the other 30% is actually intentional dev rugs. And so there's like more alpha, fuck it. What I've noticed is there's like two big differences. So if you watch a coin launch and the dev immediately rugs and it's still going up, like, and I don't mean just like going up because sometimes like bots just take it up. I mean, actually has price action like up and down. That's usually insider.
That's bullish.
It's insider. Because why would a dev rug for 50 cents? Like he wouldn't, like he would at least wait to 20 or 30K. Right. And so when a dev waits 20 or 30K then rugs, then I know that the dev was just trying to make some money. And then I have to like analyze, is the narrative strong enough to run without someone actually pushing it? Or like, is it strong enough to run enough where someone would pick it up and push it? Right. So like an Elon tweet, for example, doesn't really matter for dev rugs. Like dev's going to rug at 50K because it's going to run like really hard if it's a good Elon tweet, and it's going to run to a couple 100K at least. Like you can almost like guarantee that, you know. Same with like Binance or Coinbase or KuCoin. If they tweet an animal, like it'll run to 1 mil, like it'll run to 2 mil. The devil rug it. Like if he doesn't rug it on Pump Fund, the only reason he didn't rug it on Pump Fund was it moved too quickly and he couldn't sell. That's literally the only reason. But when you see a coin launch and it launches at 7K because the dev bought 1 SOL and then he immediately rugs it and doesn't make any, he makes 1.01 SOL, and then it starts to go back up and has price action. Like you have to ask yourself why. Like is it like just the like I don't like, even if it's a good narrative, most of them don't make it off a 7K floor after the dev rug. So is it like the most insane narrative you ever heard, or is it something that like probably like dev is trying to shake out the snipers that got in really early so that he can buy from other wallets with all of his boys before they like get going. Right? Like
that is a hot tip.
It is because like most people are playing the game. They're thinking, like I tweeted this yesterday, and I think it's really important. Like if you want to play Pump Fund, like if you're on Pump Fund before bonding curve, and even sometimes after bonding, depending upon how long it's alive, you're not playing a PvP game. You're playing a PvP.
Oh, this tweet was great. Go ahead. This was a great tweet.
You like you're not playing a PvP game. You're playing a PvP game because you're not playing against other players. like you're almost like your main opponent is almost the dev, because you don't know what the dev's going to do. You don't know if it's a legit project, especially with like a lot of this AI shit. Like this AI shit, like when you find weird, like some of the AI shit I find at 15, 20K runs to 50, like 5 million, 50 million.
Yeah.
Like I was in Ava. Ava just hit 150 million. I won't even tell you how early I was in that. You know? And like some of this shit just goes crazy. And so, but some of it just rugs immediately. And especially with AI shit, because realistically, like if a dev rugs an AI project, 80% of the time it's fake. Like sometimes they're actually just trying to shake you out so they can really run it. That happened to me yesterday. They actually got me. Dude, this fucking coin, I bought it on the app. It's at 4.2 million. I bought it at 70K. The dev fucking rugged it to 30. He shook me out because I don't know why I cheated, but I did. Now
it's fucking so sick. It's just poker, man. It's like
you're playing against the dev, and you have to think. You can't think like, how can I beat the other player? You have to think, what is the dev trying to do to get me out? Because if I have 2% of a coin and the dev knows that he's going to pump it to 5, 10 million or even more, he doesn't want me to have 2%. He doesn't want me to have fucking 1%. He'll be like, okay, he's got 0.5%, whatever, let's run it. He doesn't want me to have fucking shit because he and all his boys want to make the money. And so you're playing against like everybody talks about the cabal. Dude, every coin is its own cabal. It's just like, can you beat their cabal as an individual player? And most people can't, because obviously if you're playing a team game versus an individual game, it's way easier. It's imagine like the way I like to explain it is like the cabal that people talk about is really just people who have decided, hey, let's team up in a game, in an environment that's traditionally PvP. Let's work together. And so some of it is like manipulative. You can argue, is it moral? Is it wrong? That's a whole other discussion. But like the reality is what they've done, what the cabal has done is they've entered a Halo lobby where the guy who on the other end thinks he's playing 1v1 someone else, and he gets in the lobby and it's him versus 4 other people.
Yeah.
And now if you were in Halo or any fucking Call of Duty, if you're 1 versus 4 other people, you're not going to win unless you're a fucking gamer and like they suck ass, you know? And so that's the way that the cabal works. And so if you're going to play this game, you have to look at it from that perspective. How do I beat the cabal? That's it. How do I beat them?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you have to figure out how to play against, like, actually a few things. One is what you mentioned before about what you have to do mentally, where like you have to kind of playing that rocket game, right? Where you kind of have to see where you think like you should sell before the cascade happens, or if you think it has exit velocity to go higher. They're playing the same game on the other side of how high can I push it, but not too long to be able to rug and take a profit. So they're playing the exact opposite game.
Exactly.
And then I'm also playing versus Fxnction, right? Because I'm in, Fxnction's in.
Yeah.
Where's Fxnction going to think Dev's going to sell? Where's Fxnction going to sell? Where am I in? Where is he in? Who was first? Who was last? What are our metas? Do we have the same idea of like the thesis? Or is mine a short term, his a long term? We don't have to worry about each other. You know, there's this whole deep spider web going on within like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
You know?
Within like 30 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes you have to do that shit like so real time that like I actually like what I do like in my house is like even like with my girlfriend, I'm like, sweetheart, like when I'm in this space, like the only like there has to be no distractions. There has to be like not even like on a subtle like energy level. Like I need the space like peaceful and clear because I cannot operate and do this at the level I do it at without that. Like even if there's like a little bit of like this or that, and it's something that we like, she's amazing and she works with me on it. But it's like the same thing when I'm trading with my boys. I'm like, guys, we need to be patient.
There needs to be a
clear. Yeah, exactly. Because the reality is like what we're talking about can happen over a 5-hour span, but it also can actually happen in a 5 second to 15 second span.
Yeah.
Like there are coins that I have watched and been a part of and like have giga run, like that literally bond in 3 seconds. And then after they bond, they're at $5 million market cap instantly, like instant. And so you just don't know. And you have to be so present and in the zone and focus, like, and clear and not anxious and not like trigger happy and also not like too yeety and just like, you have to like be peaceful and calm and watch the chart and like trust the movements and like strategically like trust your gut when you're taking profits and stuff. Or just ride zero or hero. That's like a strategy. Some of my friends make millions just buying the coins that I buy and never selling them. And like, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have sold that. And they're like, oh yeah, I held. I'm like, well, fuck.
But they probably take some round trips that like you would never want to take, right? Like you just can't be both. There's just really no savant like that can really be perfect.
I know guys that made. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I know guys that have made millions from literally not even like letting a coin bond. They'll buy it at 15K and sell it at 50K all day, and they won't even think about it. And then like,
well, they found a thing, right? They found a little pop.
They found their thing, and it's sick. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, dude, like you cheated a fucking $5 million coin at 50K. He's like, I don't care. I made 5 SOL like on 17 other trades in between then, you know, or 2.5 SOL or whatever it is. They just flip, like I know guys that just flip pump fun shit. I know guys that buy on Pump Fun and then like we'll put it in a wallet and look at it in 2 weeks and it's either zero or it's like a unicorn part dust, you know? And it just depends on how you work. I'm not one of those people that like personally likes to sleep in like super large positions in shit coins because I know how much they can fluctuate. Totally. I can't sleep well.
So clean up a little bit before bed.
Exactly. You know? Like, I'm learning to be more of a moonbagger, you know, leave 5%, 10% of my initial buy-in and just like forget about it. I'm still building that strategy like to get really good at it. But like sleeping in shitcoin sucks. I just never sleep.
Yeah, I feel you. A couple things that I talk about with people a lot in regards to just trading in general. Like I really like trading psychology. Like I really think that it's a space, especially in crypto, that there's so many people that have not thought about things. And some of these little nuggets, man, like that you're dropping are like huge rabbit holes to go down. Like, for instance, you said like one thing people do is they look for the winners, right? What I like to do is I look for the losers. And over this past 6-9 months, I've spent X amount of time spending time, money, energy, emotional baggage to basically be able to now quickly identify something that looks like a rug where it increases my win percentage from like, you know, maybe somebody who sucks, they have a 5% winner and you're a 20 to 25% winner. Well, like to me, that just suggests you're making less mistakes. And same thing in poker, the people who make the least mistakes end up making the most amount of money, because in the end, anybody can like learn to play hands that are good, right? It's easy to fucking ride a winner that's on its way and like everybody's talking about it. It's like a joke, but it's like those medium to small decisions that add up over time, the medium and small pots in poker that add up over time. That's where like the professionals emerge. And then also the thing you mentioned where like you found your lane, your pocket, even the guys in the pump fund thing, like if you can align your strategy to what feels right to you, and then you're able to, if I'm the pump fund dude who sells before a bond and then my buddy is just trolling me about it, right? But if I can like work through, because what that'll do is if you say that to somebody, right, as like a little thing, that matters though, because that will make them think about that opportunity, and they'll have to run through this scenario of like it's like the 5 stages of grief, right? They'll have to like get angry about it. They'll have to like bargain with the fact that like they didn't do it and maybe I should play it, maybe I should win it. And then like there's this period they want to get to, which is just acceptance. Like, yeah, I missed it. Who cares? I'm going to move on to the thing I'm good at. Exactly. And the people who are really fucking good at trading, shitters, good coins, tradfi, whatever you want to call it, are the people that can get to acceptance like fast and just be cool with it. You know, just the authentic people who are just cool with what they do. So like, it's really good stuff that you said.
You have like that. I think that's the biggest thing because, dog, it makes me fucking laugh. Like, I'll read literally, like, I've been on Twitter the last couple of weeks reading, like, just scrolling and finding a thread that, like, and multiple times, not just once, like, the guys are like, I lost 15 soul on Pump Fun. Here's my story. And they write a big thread about it. And I'm like, brother, I rinse 15 soul before I have my second coffee in the morning. That's my warm up. What are you talking about? Like, it's like a game, like, and just like any game, like, you're not going to be good at it like the very first time you play it, nor are you going to be good at it every time you play it. Like, I'm a big golfer. I've been playing golf ever since I was fucking 6 years old. Like, I'm like,
we should play.
Yeah, oh, I'd love to play, bro. I didn't know you play. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I used to be scratch. I'm probably like a 4 or 5 handicap now. I love the game. It's like, I love it. It's like the thing. Like one of the things like that. Like you ask me something, what do you like to do? Golf. Love golf. But in golf, I understand that when I go on the golf course, I know my swing is good. I know that my game is good. But sometimes I'm not going to hit the fucking ball well. And sometimes, like, I am going to hit the ball well, but it's going to get a bad fucking bounce and it's going to go in the rough or it's going to go behind a tree. Like, that's life. That's part of playing the game, you know? Yeah. And so, and I also know that when I get to the golf course, if you're a golfer, you know, you're not just going to get to the golf course at 10:50 to tee off at 11 and just step on the tee without stretching, without hitting golf balls, without warming up, without doing any of that. You're just not. And if you are, you're either like, you're just not going to play well for at least the first 5 holes. Yeah. You need to warm up with golf. It's part of the game. And that's the way I see like this. Like, I'll take 20, 30 soul in the morning and fully rinse it because I need to figure out what the meta is. I need to figure out
your range session of the day.
What's that?
It's like your driving range session of the day before getting out there.
Exactly. Because it's like, all right, I rinsed 20, 30 soul. Like, and I also keep the mentality that like, I'm not trying to get it back. That's where people lose a lot is they're like, I put 50 soul in my trading wallet, but now it's 25. So I need to make 25 back. And then they cut their winners too early. And then they're just back at break even or a little profit. And the coins like that they won, that they found, like I rinsed 25 soul like with 50 in my bag to find the winner that's going to make me 250. Right. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I understand that's part of the game. That's how I have to play.
That's them going through that bargaining phase is like, where they just like, get me back to the start, right? They have these anchor points, right? Whereas you seem to see it more like, look, I'm doing this for a year. It's this big marathon. And like, all I want to do is shake the cobwebs off as quickly as possible in the morning and get back to that kind of flow state that I need to get to.
Exactly. That's literally it. Because if I can enter the flow state, like sometimes I don't like, if I'm being honest, sometimes I don't even really want to be in it. Like, 3 weekends ago, I like had a crazy week. It was Friday. I think I made $130,000 that week just trading shitters, you know, and I was up. I was like killing it. And I was like, great. Then intentionally, I'm going to be offline Saturday. I'm going to be offline Sunday. Or at least like offline to me means like I'm watching the market, but not heavily participating in it, you know? Yeah. Like I'm still on my photon on my phone, like scrolling live pairs, watching to see what's happening, but I'm not betting 20 soul on something at 300K that I think is going to do well. I'm just like, maybe I'll bet 2 or 3. Long story short, that's where I was at. And like Saturday, 4 p.m. rolls around. I'd rinsed 65 soul up until 4 p.m., like down 65 on the day. And I had like 35 left in my trading wallet. And I was like, oh no, I had 8 left in my trading wallet. Threw it into one coin, fucking made 130 soul. Bought another coin, fucking another 100 soul. Dude, bought another coin, 300 soul. I swear to you on my life, I was intentionally trying to get out of the game to rest. And Saturday and Sunday, I made another $250,000 just because I was like in the flow and like you can't get out of it when you're in it, you know? And so I think that's what people don't understand is like, you can't actually be like, what's the best way to say it? Oh, this is a really good analogy. It's like if you're hunting a deer, like imagine you're like back in caveman era and like, you know, your wife's at the cave and she's going to go gather shit. And you're like, oh, honey, I go fucking kill deer. I bring food. You know, you go out to kill a deer. And like, if you're out there, like how do you have to be? Like, you can't be anxious. You can't just be like bow and arrow, like, oh, I'm ready to go. The deer's going to hear you, or the deer's going to feel that, and it's going to run the fuck away. And it's the same thing with these live pairs. Like, you can't be in the mode of where you like are all like anxious and clenched. Like most of my days spent just like watching shit and trying to be as relaxed as possible. And allow myself to just like feel what feels good, you know. And
it's like a limited mindset, like a taker, like I need to reach like I need to make something happen, rather than like a abundant, chill, whatever comes to me.
Exactly. And if you could stay in that like abundance like state where you're just like, you know, like people laugh at like manifestation shit, but it's actually really true. Like you have to be able to like live in like a state of being where you already know it exists and it's just like coming to you, rather than like you're
Give
like
us the CIA of the cat, bro.
You know, little cat. This is my neighbor's cat. She comes by every day and comes hangs
Stop
out.
the ticker.
Meowmala. Fucking what's that? Her name's Meowmala Anderson. If someone makes a ticker.
Meowmala Anderson. That is pretty solid.
Yeah, I'll fuck it. But yeah, long story short, like you have to be just like surrendered and like you have to be able to find that flow state, or else you're just going to be like in and out of coins all the time. I've watched it happen to myself, and I also watched it happen to a lot of people where they're like, dude, I bought that at 30K. How's it at 3 mil? Why'd I sell? It's like, I actually, I was doing that for like 2 months straight, and I kept like, dude, you don't want to hear the story. Actually, yeah, you do. I had Billy at 60K market cap. I had fucking Daddy at 50K market cap. Like before the original devs rugged and the CTO teams took over, and Andrew Tate CTO. Like I had all those, but I just didn't hold IG.
Daddy always has potential. You got to know that. You know that word will live on forever. It always has potential.
You got to understand, like the Daddy coin was an interesting situation because it came out. I bought it like 60K. I had like 5 or 6 soul in. It started to rip, and then the dev cheated. But the Daddy coin wasn't an Andrew Tate coin at the time. Like literally, the photo on SoulScan like was a fucking old Pepe with a cigar in his mouth. That's all it was. It was just like a Pepe that said Daddy. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. And then Tate CTO'd it, changed all the branding to make it his coin. But like, or somebody else CTO'd it, but I'm sure Tate was involved somehow. Long story short, like when you're gambling this shit so early, it has no ties to anything. There is no thesis to like, there's no thesis to put your like, put the ground in to say, I'm holding this. And so for 2 months straight, I actually did that. I'd buy coins. I'd sell them at like 30% losses, 50% losses, and then they'd run 50x. And I'd sit there beating myself up and wondering how that happened. Tip for everybody that's doing that right now, go on Amazon right now and buy yourself a desk timer. I did that, and I started like when I buy a coin, I'd set a timer, 30 minutes. I'm not allowed to sell for 30 minutes. I don't care if the fucking coin goes to 10K market cap and there's 6 minutes left on the thing. I'm not selling for 30 fucking minutes at least. And then I would move it up to an hour, then 2 hours, you know? And now I don't need the timer, but that trained me to be way more patient with these things, because when they're at such low market caps, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if someone else.
Not enough eyeballs on them yet, maybe, right?
Dude, exactly. You got to think like I bought Billy at 60K or whatever, 50K. It dumped back to like 10 or like 20. But how am I supposed to know a dog named Billy is going to be liked enough by someone else that they're going to CTO it and take it to 500 million? You don't know. You know, there's no thesis to like ground yourself into. And so the timer really helped me, because theses are built individually, but they're also built in the broader like mind space. Like, and so it takes time for other people to put the thesis together and to formulate it and to realize what it could be. And if you're just like patient with it, at least a couple times you're going to hit it right. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's where you're talking about, like, you know, because you want to get into the flow state, is like when you are in that moment, you're probably tapped into that bigger group a little bit more than you were before. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like, and then you don't know that you're tapped in there, but you really are. And that's why if you're gone for 2 days, it's tough. Or you haven't golfed in a week. You get on the range and you're just like, I can't find the middle of the face, right? We got you. Lost you a little bit, but
exactly.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
I mean, look, there's also probably an importance. Uh-oh. We're a little lag. Hold on. Say something right now.
One sec. I'm just quitting all these apps. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
My computer was dying. I had to charge it. That's why it's like getting a little slow and laggy. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. You're good.
All right, cool. Perfect.
But yeah, it's tough because, you know, like we're only capable of staying on point so much that you probably felt like I wonder if that was a good thing or a bad thing for you to have like had a really good weekend when you were telling yourself to take a break, because you probably felt like, yo, I need to take a step for a second. Like I need a day where my mind can cleanse, like, so I could get back into it. But then you kind of somehow fell back into that state, like mistakenly. You were almost actually done, right? You were almost down to nothing, and you kind of found something that clicked you back in. It probably put you in the state. Now, do you feel like because you ended up having a big weekend, you might be reluctant to give yourself that day in the future, which actually could be a mistake, because then you could actually make a bigger mistake? If that makes
100%.
sense.
Dude, it already happened. Like that was probably 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, actually 4 weeks ago that weekend happened. And then like I kept winning and winning. Like I found fucking Lee at a 200K market cap, ran to 20 million. Then the next day we found Akka at 500K. It's now at 35 million. Like we're just cooking. But then I just got like over trady with it for like 3 days, and I blew like $100 grand. You know what I mean? And that's part of the game. I'm okay with it. I've accepted it now.
A downswing of sorts, you know?
Yeah, it's like I had just like pushed myself too hard, and my body like couldn't handle like that level of focus and energy anymore. And so I was just moving too quickly and making bad mistakes. That like I wouldn't.
And we're all susceptible to feeling like we have the Midas touch sometimes too, right? Like
100%. And when sometimes you do have the Midas touch.
Sometimes you do. I agree.
And like when you do have it, you're susceptible to thinking that everything's going to be it, which is like also part of my process. Like a lot of people are like, yo, Function, where'd you go? Like, why aren't you tweeting anymore for months, bro, during this bull? And that's because I was doing this, and also B, like kind of like learning how to re-interface with crypto Twitter in a way that feels good to me. Like not to say last time didn't feel good. It was a lot of fun and it was a blast. But like if I'm going to be fully honest, like the way I like to say it is like I bought my own hype too much. I bought into my own hype too much. You know, and when you buy into your own hype too much and you have too much like social attention and you like can't separate the two, like then you just make poor trading decisions because everybody's watching what you're buying, they're watching what you're selling. Then like Ansem, right? Like I personally fuck with him. I talked to him a couple times. I don't have a problem with him, but long story short, like he's got a shitty situation because everybody's watching his fucking wallet with millions of dollars. If he sells a fucking thing, like it doesn't matter. He's making money, and everybody might be like, "Well, it doesn't matter. He's rich." But then he's literally has to log on to Twitter and listen to 10,000 motherfuckers ask him why he sold Mitchie.
Seems like a tough spot to be a main character, man.
It's rough. I had somewhat of that role in the NFT world last cycle, and it's like it's different. You have to operate and navigate differently. You can't just like trade and have fun anymore. Like you have, even if you don't want to, and even if you didn't choose it, like you were given some sort of responsibility that you have to like uphold, or else you just become a giant scumbag. So Yeah, long story short, like though, like that's kind of why I've been like silent with it, is like I'm like I even in my like runs, I'm learning, don't buy into your own hype. Like just because you're hitting doesn't mean you're always going to hit. So like take shit to the side. You remember, like I remember being down bad and in the bear market. And so when I'm up big, like this time, like be smart about it. And so that's part of like my like practice.
Feels like the wisdom of the cycles, man. The way, like, the more cycles you go through, especially if you spend time in the space and grow a brand. Like, I don't have that much reach, but I could even feel it with just a few hundred people that give a shit about you. Like, if you make one questionable decision, your reputation could be real dicey out there.
Cooked.
Yeah.
Yep. Very quickly too. Like people forget how like quickly the mob mentality works with like with like crypto Twitter and the way they think, you know, like literally
money's involved, man.
Ansem,
money's involved.
Exactly, dude. Ansem, like I watched Ansem go through it already, and he's handled it pretty fucking well. But like for months, people were like, "He's God. He's the greatest person to ever exist. Watch him trade. Oh my God!" And then like one thing happened. I don't even remember what it was. And
the boxing match was the beginning of the end.
What it was. It was the boxing match. Yep, the boxing match happened.
The famous picture of him like this.
Yep. And everybody's just up his fucking ass being like, "Oh, you're such a loser. Oh, dude, you can't fight." You know, it's like, it's crazy how quickly like the mob can switch on you. And I guess this cycle, I just don't really have the desire for that level of attention. Like it's fun to play around on these apps and to share my calls. It's fun to tweet a couple big wins, but I don't really need to be or desire to be the main character. And like, I just want to like cook cake and like cook and stack cash and chill.
Riff raff is goals, baby. Riff raff is goals.
I just want to blow up and act like I don't know. No.
All right. Well, we've almost been going an hour. I think this will be like, this will cook out there. People will love this shit.
Yeah. This is a good sesh.
Last couple questions. What do you feel like 2025, what are you most excited about here in crypto? Where do you think the next 6-9 months look for the space? Is it going to be controlled by AI? Is it going to be memes? Is it going to be NFTs again? What's it going to be? And then if you want, put out a couple tickers you really like that you've been you've been messing with for a while, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sweet. I'm not sure if NFTs will have their day again. I think they will be relevant. I think they're gonna like change forms and relevancy. Like I think like zero born NFTs, like anything tied to like an actual AI project that an AI built is gonna probably blow the fuck up. You know, I've been pretty deep on zero born. I started tweeting them at 1 Sol. They ran to like 10. I think they're like 5 or something now. But I've been telling people like, that's the move. If a fucking billion, like there's a zero bros, fucking almost $1 billion, and you're telling me the NFTs are worth fucking $5 million, $10 million market cap, you're crazy.
I just tweeted that this morning. I said, watch out for the coins that produce NFTs rather than the NFTs that produce coins. It's shifting.
It's completely different now. Like that's exactly what the meta is like, are the coins like, or are the coins making NFTs? Like if NFT makes a coin, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's like a quick temporary pump because like
that just probably shows that they're kind of giving up in a way.
Yeah, the
only thing we can do to get people interested again is make a coin.
Make a coin, yeah. Or like not giving up, but at least they're like trying to do something, but like they're trying to be relevant in an ecosystem where they like their relevancy is past. And so, and I guess I want to phrase that like clearly. That I'm not talking about like pudgy penguins and stuff. Like those are different because
we understand
a high level.
There's tiers.
About like random little Solana projects that are like, let's drop a coin. And I'm not hating on them because I actually think it's a fun idea and I think it adds to the ecosystem. It's not bad. I'm just like mentioning.
We're just mentioning where the movement's going now, where the puck's going.
Exactly. So, just want to be clear about that. That being said, like I think that's important. I think, if I'm being honest, I think Pump Fun, and as soon as Vector opens up to the public, I think like the Pump Fun cycle goes like ballistic. I really, like since I've only been on this app 4 days, crazy. This is like a whole different level of how to play the
Cool,
game.
right?
It's very cool. And once people are on it and trading with other people and
Is the
watching,
demon mode pump fun?
it's like a meme scope. I haven't tried it yet.
Because I've been going on there and I've been like, I don't even know if this is. Am I looking at like channeled through pump fun coins, or is this its own thing? I don't even know. I don't really spend much time in there.
I think it's all pump fun stuff from my understanding.
Okay.
But like, I need to play around with it a little bit more and see how it works. But long story short, yeah, I really think like pump, like specifically like pump fun in general, but specifically like AI coins, I mean, are the NFTs of this cycle. Like they're the ones that you're going to see some go to 10 million, 20 million, maybe more, you know, and it's going to create the ballistic hype where fucking influencers on Instagram are making AI agents and stupid shit like that. You know, and coins and all of this. It's going to go crazy. It already is like somewhat going crazy, but in my opinion, it hasn't even really started yet. Like there's a whole other level to this shit that it can go, and I think it will go. So that's like really my opinion on it. I think like the best thing people can do is just like, if you don't know the pump fun game already, like I'll just be honest, like if you don't know like it at all, like you're completely starting new, I just like spend your money buying a couple good coins that you've researched and you believe in and just like sitting on them and waiting. Like I wouldn't do what I do. Like it was painful. I lost a lot of money and I spent a lot of time and energy doing it, but like I'm grateful I did it because now I know the game and I can play it the way that I shared. But if you have been playing Pump Fun and you know like a little bit about the game works or a lot about the game works, it's about to be the greatest financial opportunity ever. It already is. Like there are literally coins going from 0 to 50 million in hours. Like you put one soul in at the right place and you're cashing out 100, 500, 1,000, you know, like more even. So I think that's what people don't really realize yet, you know?
So this was my theory, is basically like we're seeing a convergence of AI, memetics, pump fun, people that have a lot of money because the bull run is on, and they're all coming together. And to me, it's setting up like in 2017, we had like that 6 to 8 month period where everybody was buying ICOs. In 2021, we had that 6 to 8 month period where no NFT could lose, right? I mean, crazy. And now I think we're setting up to be that 6 to 8 month end of the cycle, AI coin, pump fun, memetics, agents, and then it's going to set us up. Like my dream situation here is it's going to set us up for the big next bear market, because it could just balloon so high that like we will be convinced that AI agents are the new way on internet works. This is how we interact with people. There is value there. The utility makes sense. They should be valued this high. And then sure enough, we'll pull the plug, the vaporware will come out, and we'll all want Bitcoin again.
Literally exactly, bro. Literally.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what's happening. Like, and I think it could send Solana parabolic, bro. I think like,
I know.
So
good for Solana.
Like, I think Solana, like, I don't think Hansom's wrong about $1,000 Solana. I'll just say that. Like, I think that's
how Sol is at 220 is mind blowing to me. It's the most used blockchain, the most gambled. The AI infrastructure is probably going to mostly settle on Solana. Like it's just set up. Chef's kiss for Solana. You know,
perfect. It's ready for it. So I think a lot of people don't understand the level that we're all about to go to on this, and like that's why I'm like, part of my thing is like, now how do I improve my game? That's what I'm always thinking about, because it's not about do I know the game, it's about how do I get better at it. And so for me, like what I've been like practicing a lot is like, how do I leave little moon bags of this shit, you know? Like if I had even left 0.25% of fucking, don't get me wrong, I made good sales and made good money, but even 0.25% of the AI penis coin and put it in a wallet, and buddy hits you up and he says, dude, it's 10 million, it's ripping, blah, 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 you know, then like, then you just go to the wall and you sell it. But like people, I forget, I play this game all day. I forget how parabolic some of these things can fucking go.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's good to like remember that. And that's why I also like trading with other people sometimes. It's like good to have like even a group chat where you're like, guys, how high do you think this can go? Oh, you think 500K? I think like 1 mil. Here's why. Da, 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 da. And then because the thesis
gets you to expand your mind, look at it in different ways.
Exactly, because I think a good thought on this to like kind of a little final rant for you on this is like it's all about like the mind share that I'm talking about when the mind like when the collective agrees on a thesis, and being early is just forming the thesis before everyone else does and having conviction in it. And sometimes that's really hard to do alone. And so even having a couple like my group chat with like either my boys in real life or like some random people on Twitter, like, or on Telegram that are just in a group chat I know, like just talking with people and being like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And like jamming, and like that helps form the thesis, because without the thesis, you're buying a coin and you're just gambling. That's it. Like, and that's okay if you want to do it, like, and you're good at it, do it, win, make money. Most people aren't good at it, and that's why they're losing. And so you need, like, if you're buying a coin, you need to have a thesis behind the coin. You have to have targets for that thesis. Like, I bought this, I don't know when this is going to come out. This coin might go to zero. I don't know. I just bought Cockchain, you know, like my thesis. Yeah, CC. Like, don't buy it. Who knows? Maybe buy, maybe don't. I don't know. Anyway,
definitely don't.
Yeah, definitely don't buy that. Long story short, like Cockchain, cool. It's in all this meta of vagina. I've seen vagina coin hit 500K yesterday. I saw fucking AI penis hit 10 mil. You know, and so if I can fit a range, okay, Cockchain is at 100K. I see people tweeting about it on Twitter. Like, one of the first things I do when I find a coin is I search the contract address in the search bar on Twitter to see who's talking about it, or the ticker. Mostly the contract address if it's really early, because that's how the coin gets out there. And so you do that, and then all of a sudden, okay, cool, Cockchain, I like it. Oh, this guy's tweeting about it. Now I think it can go to 250K. Oh, this guy's tweeting about it too. Oh, there's like there's 5 tweets in the last 15 minutes about it. That's actually a lot for a brand new coin. Maybe it can go to 500K. And
so then you're gauging the mind share in real time.
That's what you have to do. It's the only way to play the game. Otherwise, you're actually just gambling on like up and down movements, and you don't know when to buy or sell, and you can't hold shit. You have to form a thesis, because the thesis is what allows you to buy a fucking 50, 100K market cap coin and hold it to 5, 10, 20, 50. It's like the only reason I've made it's the only reason I've like probably cashed at least 4 to 5, 6 figure or multiple 6-figure trades in the last like 8 weeks, is because like you have to like build the thesis and formulate it around the thought process, like around like what the collective thought process is. Like, I can have a thesis that Poppy is the next fucking American Mudang, and I can talk about it as much as I fucking want. And maybe that will help a little bit with the mind share, because maybe it makes other people believe it. But like, unless like a large amount of other people decide to agree to that and start to push it, then like it's only me, and I'm
it's only like, you're only so much you can only,
and there's only so much conviction I can have, you know, like I sold a good amount of Poppy. I mean, like a part of my bag at like 2 mil the first day, 3 mil when it ran up, or 4 mil, whatever it was, you know, I can't remember. But am I mad about it? No. But like also like the mind share over the last 7 days since that happened is completely different. Like, there's a whole new group of people who believe in Poppy. They believe in Poppy so much they actually made the name fucking Poppy. You know what I mean? And so now my thesis is no longer I'm gambling because I believe it's the American Mudang. It's like, now, okay, like maybe I might size into this because like
it's reached a new level.
Other people believe it's the American. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said it in my group chat the first day, and then literally went on Twitter an hour later, found Good Morning America's first video about the hippo, and the guy said, "It's America's Mudang" on the fucking video. And
Yeah.
so that was the point where I said, "Oh, I'm not selling this at $250,000 market cap. Why would I do that?" you know, because the thesis was able to grow and build because someone else, especially someone else who's public in like the live like view, validated my thought. And now I have conviction to hold longer. So it's all about the thesis. Like build your thesis like in the coins that you're like buying, if you're buying them early, and you have to have like, depending up, like it's actually like a strength meter for me. Like if my thesis is weak, like $250,000 market cap or 150K, I'll probably cut half. You know, if my thesis is stronger, I'm like the unicorn fart dildo yesterday or butt plug.
The plug,
unicorn fart plug, like strong thesis. Like, you know, like I sold a little bit in my Vector app on my other like thing. I'm like, I held like a decent amount to like 1 or 2 mil, 3 mil until I was just ended up cutting, you know. But long story short, that's how you got to play the game if you're going to play it early. Otherwise, you're literally just gambling, and most people lose at gambling.
And I know, final thought here, I know most people are going to be like, well, I wish I was in these group chats or whatever. I think Vector is slowly making an interesting play in that sense that like I was scrolling through like broadcasts and I did some filters. Like I want to see broadcasts of at least $200, and you can kind of play with the different settings there. And then you can start kind of scrolling and starting to see like, oh, all right, Function bought $1,000 of this. Let me go see what Function's holding on. How many broadcasts does he have? Does it look like he's winning money? Oh, if so, I'm going to follow them and I'm going to comment. You can comment on their things and be like, I like that call or whatever. And then, you know, if you keep broadcasting, keep doing that, all of a sudden you might find yourself in a way, a group, and you can invite them on Vector and create your own group there. So they're trying to, I think, lean into the development of that. And that's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Super cool. So, all right, man, look, this enough alpha for the people. All right. That's it. Okay. Now you're going to you're screwed now. You got competition.
Now people know the game. I got a couple months now, so let's see if they can catch up.
That's right. You better hurry. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please give it a like, comment, share it. I think this has actually been full of a lot of information that can, you know, not only make people money, but help them not lose as much money in the process, which I think is good for everybody. So Function, I appreciate the time, man. And I'll see you out there on the streets.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for the invite. Super fun.